I love Charlie Brown because I think the cartoons are fun and quirky and a great escape from reality. And I sat down to watch Why Charlie Brown Why, hoping for exactly that. And I got something so unexpected but so moving, and it's absolutely beautiful. I will be discussing spoilers in a moment because I need to talk about a certain character and why this was completely different to any Charlie Brown cartoon I've seen before. But just very briefly, without spoilers, there is a little girl at school called Janice, and she goes home one day with a fever. Linus is very protective of her. He wants to look after her and care for her, and things are not as straightforward as just having a fever. And it's all about her experience with her health and the emotions that come with that. And I won't say any more than that just now, but I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Um, she does have a stay in the hospital, and what I thought was really interesting is that over the tannoy, we heard adult voices. That never happens in a Charlie Brown cartoon. The adult voices are always muffled, and the teacher speaks in this, and the voice is muffled, but the adults in the hospital over the tannoy are clear as anything, and I just wasn't expecting that, and I thought it was kind of strange. Um, we also have some injections of humor in here with Snoopy trying to be the world's greatest doctor. So even when it's a lot more dramatic and sentimental than I was expecting, Snoopy still manages to be the emblem of kind of that cuteness and quirkiness that we love with Charlie Brown. So it is beautiful. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it, but it's very different to a lot of Charlie Brown cartoons and very moving. So spoilers from now, I'm going to go into specific details about what was wrong with Janice and certain other aspects. So Janice, we find out in the most shocking reveal ever that she has cancer. She has leukemia. And there's this beautiful exchange between Linus and Charlie Brown and Janice as they are asking her all of these questions about what it is and how they found out. And Janice tells them about the tests that she had to go, blood tests and things, and about chemotherapy. And I think it's really interesting to hear a child talking about this. And it's so moving. And she does it with such bravery, and there's no sense that she's feeling sorry for herself, whereas Linus and Charlie Brown are like panicking and concerned and curious and unsure of what to do or how to react. And I think that that's exactly what would happen in this kind of situation. And by asking questions, they become more knowledgeable and informed. And I think that that's really important. It's educating particularly younger viewers, but anybody, about what it is. And I feel like most people, unfortunately, will have at least somebody in their school at some point who has a serious illness, whether that's cancer or something else. And this kind of thing can encourage children to ask questions nicely, not, nastily, and to actually learn about these things and understand and know what their friends or classmates or whatever are going through. And indeed, if anybody watching this has a classmate or whatever with leukemia, they can start to understand what is a very complex condition in a lot more basic terms. And it's just so emotional. And there were some bits I thought were pretty difficult to watch. For example, when Janice was being bullied for being bald, and how Linus stood up for her was just absolutely amazing. It was courageous. It was admirable. He was fantastic. He gave such a fantastic performance. And when we got to see her sisters, and her sisters were being jealous of all the gifts she was getting, and it's not something I ever thought of before, but I imagine that would be the case if you have somebody, a sibling, who is really unwell. People are going to be giving them gifts as a way to show their well wishes. And even though obviously the sisters aren't jealous of her condition, she is getting a lot of attention, and they may not be getting as much attention as usual. And it never occurred to me before, so it definitely made me think about things in that way. And it was just a nice little thing to include to kind of show everybody's perspectives and how it affects people around them as well. And of course, I mean, I lost it. I absolutely lost my mind when, as I said, spoiler warnings, when at the end Janice says she had a surprise for Linus and she's on the swings and she takes her cap off and her hair is there, and it's just, I lost it. I really did. It was so beautiful. It's so emotional and so sentimental, and just everything about it was unexpected, and Slightly getting choked up thinking about it. Had this been the very first Charlie Brown cartoon I'd ever seen, I don't know if I would have fallen in love with them, because it is heavy going. But because I've seen a lot of them and I know how fun and quirky it can be, it's a great change to see these characters in this slightly different setting, with a much more meaningful narrative, and it's beautiful. If you haven't seen any Charlie Brown before, do not start with this one. But if you have, why Charlie Brown? Why? It's absolutely beautiful and completely worth watching.